Law number 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. They will also become spoiled and tyrannical, but hire a former enemy and he will be more loyal than a friend, because he has more to prove. In fact, you have more to fear from friends than from enemies. If you have no enemies, find a way to make them. In the mid-9th century, a young man named Michael III assumed the throne of the Byzantine Empire. His mother, Theodora, had been banished to a nunnery, and her lover had been murdered. His uncle, Boldness, a man of intelligence and ambition, was at the head of the conspiracy to depose Theodora and enthrone Michael III. Michael, in this time of peril, he needed someone he could trust as his counselor, and his thoughts turned to Basilius, his best friend. A few years before, Basilius was a crude peasant who became a cultured and sophisticated courtier when he saved Michael's life. At that instant, the groom's strength and courage had impressed Michael, whom immediately raised Basilius from a horse trainer to the head of stables. As the years progressed, Michael III was now emperor and in need of someone loyal. Who could he better trust with the post of chamberlain and chief counselor than the young man whom he owed everything to? Basilius could be trained for the job, and Basilius did indeed learn well and was soon advising the emperor on all matters of state. Exposure to the splendor of the Byzantine court life made him avaricious for the perks of power. Michael doubled and tripled his salary, ennobled him, and married him off to his own mistress, Eudoxia Angelina. Keeping such a trusted friend and advisor was worth any price. But trouble soon came when Michael's uncle Boldness became head of the army. Boldness had originally conspired to put Michael on the throne, and Basilius convinced Michael that his uncle would conspire again, this time to get rid of Michael and assume the crown himself. Basilius poured poison into Michael's ear until the emperor agreed to have his uncle assassinated. During a great horse race, Basilius closed in on Boldness in the crowd and stabbed him to death. Soon after, Basilius asked that he replace Boldness as the head of the army, and this was granted. Now, Basilius' power and wealth only grew. Michael, on the other hand, facing a financial crisis, asked his so-called BFF to pay back some of the money he had borrowed over the years. To Michael's shock and astonishment, Basilius refused. The former staple boy had more money, more allies in the army and in the Senate, and in the end, more power than the emperor himself. A few weeks later, after a night of heavy drinking, Michael awoke to find himself surrounded by soldiers. Basilius watched as they stabbed the emperor to death, and after proclaiming himself emperor, he rode Michael's horse through the streets of Byzantine, brandishing the head of his former best friend at the end of a long pike. Interpretation. It was only on that fateful day when the emperor saw the imponent smile that he realized his deadly mistake. He had created a monster. Nobody believes a friend can betray, and Michael went on disbelieving until the day his head ended up on a pike. As Voltaire, born in 1694, died 1778, once said, "Lord, protect me from my friends. I can take care of my enemies." Law number 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Be sure to subscribe and watch part 2 of Law number 2, where you will learn how to use enemies. Relics of the Red Pill. From here we shall depart.